Guys, it's our Shawn. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to talk about securing your business independence. And this is really, really an important topic. If you're a business owner now, if you want to grow your business, if you want to become more independent, or maybe you are the person who wants to own the business to get that independent, right? We're seeing a lot of people rolling out of the corporate world or other people's businesses to really want their own business because having control of yourself, having control of your destiny, having control of your medical decisions really all often come as part of owning your own business. It's rare to have as much control over yourself, your destiny, and your finances as what you do if you own your own business. Owning your own business is largely one of the best ways you can be independent. And so we're going to talk today about securing your independence. This will give you additional tips if you're a business owner that wants to become more independent, but also for that person who's thinking about being a business owner, we'll highlight a lot of those key aspects of becoming an independent business and really being separated from the world. It's a great time to be celebrating independence, to be thinking about independence, and we're really going to zoom in on that today and talk about securing your business independence and what that looks like. As always, we're not going to go deep on legal issues today, but this is not legal advice. Consult your legal counsel for your situation and what's best for you. So if you get into legal issues because of anything we talked about today, again, this is just educational entertainment. Talk to your legal counsel. But as we mentioned, many business owners are in it for independence. It is one of the primary reasons I see people building businesses. They have some burning desire to get a good or service to society. They're willing to put the hard work in and sacrifice to get to independence on the other side, right? Because that is the truth in most business cases, is you're going to have to go through a period of sacrifice to get there, right? Usually income is not strong when you first start your business. You're offer a lot of people are borrowing money. You may be asking other people to fund your business. You're going to be going out there and getting into sales processes that may make some people uncomfortable. But at the end of this, you have a vision of financial security, of having a business that you control that allows you to blend your lifestyle and your business together. This is what I hear from most business owners of why they want to be in business, is they want to secure that independence. So it really goes well with kind of Western notions, American notions of society, and it really does pair well with the notion of independence and freedom to have your own business. Never completely free, you're always regulated. Hopefully we'll see some improvements with that on the government side here in the longer term. But it definitely is probably a lot more independent for most people to own your own business than to work for somebody else and be beholden to their whims, their conflicts of interest, their family, the other things that may come up when you're working for other people in business that may get in the way of you getting really a fair deal of what you're doing and the payment and return you get in exchange for it. Owning a business is great for independence because once you get in control of it, you can set the terms, right? You can pick the customers. And believe me, for a lot of business owners, this is huge to be able to say no to certain customers, to be able to say no to certain projects. Either you're just not interested, you don't have the expertise, or you feel like it's the wrong direction long term. You can say no. And when you work in corporate settings, when you work for other people, often you can't say no. You have to do what they say. You lack that independence, right? Owning your own business allows you to exercise your judgment, to exercise your discretion, and also in many cases to control your schedule. You may be working a lot when you start your business. You may be working a lot when you grow your business, but you can blend that with your life. You can still go to have dinner with your children. You can still go to a baseball game. You can do a lot of things owning your own business that maybe you couldn't do in a bigger organization, right? So owning a business is great for independence, but increasing your independence takes intentional action, right? You have to do the things that you have to do to increase your independence, right? And that means being intentional about what you're doing, how you're acting, and how you're really building out things. It is a rare business owner that accidentally gets where they're going, right? Most people have, extensive business plans. They have a model step by step of how they get from where they are to where they're going. and they're being very intentional, not only in what they're planning, but also intentional in how they're acting, picking their customers, picking who that they're talking to as potential customers, their sales prospects, being intentional about their use of time. Time management becomes a huge issue, particularly for the new business. So a lot of intentional action is going into a business. So what's interesting about it is you are no longer beholden to somebody else. If you go from a corporate setting to owning your own business, you're now in control. But then the great business owners are often very intentional. They're very regimented. They hold themselves accountable to getting certain things done on a certain timeline and really prioritizing and budgeting their time. All of this points to the fact you got to have a plan. It is useless to just jump out there and start flailing. You need to know where you are. You need to know where you're headed. And then you need to use your time and energies in accordance with that plan. Now, that is not to say that your plan will not evolve over time as your business evolves. You'll learn. You'll pick up customers you didn't expect you'll pick up. You won't get the customers you thought you were going to get. You may have supplier issues. You may have employee issues. You're going to learn a lot as the business evolves, particularly as you get to know your customers, their needs, wants, and desires. But you have to have a plan that you can start with. And so you start with a plan, you execute the plan, and then you revise the plan. But very few business owners get very far without having a good business model or plan to start with. Again, maybe subject to heavy revision. Some businesses end up in completely different places than they thought they would. They get positioned differently than thought they would as they have that interaction with the customers and learn. But you got to start with a plan. And independence usually comes in steps. It is rare for somebody to go from working for a corporate environment to being completely independent. So we need to be realistic. So regardless of where you are in your journey, if you're new looking at doing it, if you're an existing business owner and you want to be more independent, we are talking about doing that in steps generally, right? We are looking at where we are, looking at where we're headed, what we want life to look like, what we want business to look like, and then we're going to gain independence over time. What we usually find is, somebody comes in new to owning business, new, and they're going to jump out and they might find that first couple of customers. But what they find then is that they're over beholden to their customers at first, right? They're too focused on a couple of customers. They're not diversified because that's just the nature of being a new business. Over diversification of customers comes over time. May find the same thing with suppliers too, right? They may only have a handful of suppliers to start with, and then later they go back and evaluate their independence and say, I'm really dependent on a couple of suppliers, so now let me pick some different folks, and we'll work with those suppliers, right? So we've got to look at these steps along the way of how we get from where we are to where we're going, and we can have some dependencies, right? No business is fully independent, but what we want to do is over time is we want to reduce those dependencies, right? And we want to be intentional about that. And part of this is you and your business partners. Almost every business has some form of business partnership. Even that solely owned business, typically there's key employees, there's key advisors, there's other people involved. And so what you want to do is build that whole ecosystem to be organized, to build independence, to build strength. And so how do you get everybody more organized? How do you get everybody more together? And how do you keep everybody pushing for independence? And I recommend this should be something that's in your boardroom, whether it's your formal board, your voting board of directors, or your advisory board. We have planned videos coming up here on the channel on both of those topics, so I hope you subscribe, check back. If you're watching this video well after it's been posted, those videos may already be live. But whoever you're consulting to about your business and organization, you want to talk about independence, right? How do we go from where we are to being more independent? What are the steps? What are the stages? And how do we evaluate that? You may want to make this part of your board meetings or advisory board meetings to do an analysis of your dependencies. What we find too is very interesting is if you make this an important point, you make this a metric, a lot of times in just preparing for meetings and thinking about it, you'll have breakthroughs and get there. It's like most things. If you pay attention to it, you will get better with it at time. If you don't think about it and you put it in the background, you may never get there. So think about independence regularly if that's an important priority to you. And keep going, right? You need to keep pushing regardless of any setbacks, right? So you want to be thinking about the future. You want to be thinking about how you're getting there, and you keep improving. And don't be frustrated when you do the analysis, particularly as a new business or a newer business. If you do that analysis, you say, hey, we're not independent yet, or we really are dependent on a few people, or we have a lot of risk because a key supplier, a key customer could really take us down. You keep going, you keep improving. You do it by action and constant action. Again, not legal advice. Get your attorney involved if you have that need. Folks, this is a great time. It's a wonderful time to be building a business. It is a great opportunity to become more independent. You certainly don't want to be deep in the corporate world if you have that independent mindset, and you don't want to be told about medical choices or hours of work, or whether you need to be in the office or not. If you want to start making those decisions, and you want to keep making those decisions, the avenue is through your business. But if you want to be truly independent, you need to not just be an accidental entrepreneur. As Michael Gerber said, a lot of entrepreneurs just keep doing, and what they own is a job, not a business. When you get to being independent is when you own a business. That's when you can step out of it and the business will still keep running, at least for some significant period of time. That's true independence, especially if it keeps paying you. That's financial independence. It comes in steps, but you don't get there unless you know that there are steps and you watch those steps. I wish you the best in that journey. Hope you tune in for some more videos. Drop me some comments. Love to hear what you're thinking about, what issues you're seeing, what challenges you have. And if I see an issue popping up a lot in the comments, we may do a video on it. So keep in touch, folks. Shawn McBride signing off. See you again soon, folks.